All right, we're here on the public test realm. Today is the 3rd of April, and there were many changes posted on the 1st and the 2nd that were not posted by like Blizzard official channels. They came through the Community Simulator Discord or the Community Simulator GitHub page and have since been removed from that page, but I have reproduced all of those changes that were posted on the Simon I Show Discord in the Phase 8 info channel. They're all here, and you can go over them all if you want to. As a rogue specialist, we're really just going to focus on the rogue changes in this video, but if you want to see any of the other class changes, you know, Simon I Show Discord, Phase 8 info channel, and down here. And then I link to all of them. Now, these like were originally posted, like I said, on the community simulator GitHub page, not by an official blue post, which was a little strange, but we can confirm on the test realm that these, you know, everything that was posted is actually on the test realm, so it's not like they're totally made up. A first big change for rogues is the Queensfall Dagger that everyone's been, you know, either really excited about or really mad about because it's very, very powerful. It used to just refresh Rupture only with this effect. Backstab, Mutilate, and Saber Slash Critical Strikes set the duration of your Rupture on the target to 16 seconds. It used to just do Rupture, but now it's doing Rupture and Crimson Tempest. So you'll be able to maintain both of those bleeds basically for free with you using the Queensfall Dagger. So you like put them up once, and then you just do your regular rotation. You don't have to worry about refreshing them, because you'll be getting crits with any one of those abilities and auto-refreshing them pretty frequently. Then there were changes to the damage dealer set. Overall, Rogue's got an amazing amount of buffs. Basically, every change to Rogue was a huge buff. This is a new tier set. Some people are calling it tier 3.5. Some people are calling it tier 4. It's called Duskwraith. The 2-piece bonus I think is a really cool and fun bonus. It says your Backstab, Sinister, and Saber Slash, and Mutilate deal 20% increased damage per active poison or bleed effect afflicting the target, up to a maximum increase of 60%. This used to be 10% per poison or bleed, maximum of 30%. They doubled it. They recently doubled it, making it way, way, way stronger. And I think it's a cool bonus because, like, not every build was gonna run 3 poisons and bleeds all the time anyways. So it's like a little extra hoop to jump through and a pretty big reward for jumping through that hoop. And I think that's a good design. Also, with the new Queensfall refreshing both Rupture and Crimson Tempest, if you're using Queensfall in your build, you're going to be able to achieve that 3 different poison and bleed thing very easily. You would only need one other outside of Rupture and Crimson Tempest to make it happen. 4-piece bonus is poison and auto attack critical strikes have a 10% chance to grant you a combo point. That's the same as it's been since the first time we saw it with the original test realm. And same with the 6-piece. Increases ambush, eviscerate, Crimson Tempest, and envenom damage by 50%. There's a huge, massive boost to those abilities. Very, very big. Then there were changes, the more recent, that were posted on April 2nd to the Rogue tank set. This one has seen a number of reworks, so I'm not going to tell you all of like how it was. I'm just going to tell you how it is right now. 2-set bonus, rolling with the punches, which is your boot rune. Right, ooh, where is it? Here. Also increases all damage you deal by 1%. So 5 stacks of rolling with the punches, 5% additional damage. Seems pretty basic, pretty good too. I mean, that's a strong bonus. The 4-piece bonus I think is really cool. I think it'd be really cool to combine it with the 4-piece bonus of the tier 3 set that reduces Blade Flurry cooldown also. But the 4-piece on Duskwraith is Blade Flurry now also strikes a 3rd target and increases your attack speed by an additional 10%, and each combo point you spend reduces the remaining cooldown of Blade Flurry by 1/2 of a second. So a 5 combo point finishing move is going to take 2.5 seconds off the remaining cooldown of Blade Flurry. And if you combine that with tier 3 that makes Blade Flurries like cooldown only 1 minute to begin with, you could be Blade Flurrying like 50% of the time. Like if you Blade Flurry, then you're pushing some combo points and finishing moves, and then you Blade Flurry again, and like you might have like close to 50% uptime of Blade Flurry, maybe more. I don't know. And then the 6-piece bonus is Rolling with the Punches now grants 2% more health and 1% more damage per stack. At 5 stacks of Rolling with the Punches, each time you dodge or parry, you gain 10 energy. Well, rogue tanks dodge and parry a lot. It's kind of their thing. That'll give you a lot of energy, and I think it'll be really good in like multi-target tanking situations where you're trying to like spam Fan of Knives and you have a bunch of people attacking you and you're dodging all their attacks. Really like keeps your energy up to spam more Fan of Knives. So I think that's going to be, that looks pretty good. You know, more health, more damage, more energy. The tank sets in the past have been really hit or miss with whether tank characters actually care about them. Like in Naxxramas, a lot of the good rogue tanks I knew just ran 6 pieces of the DPS set because the defenses weren't that different. The defensive set bonuses on the tank set weren't that good. And the DPS set just offered them way, way, way more threat generation. So I think having really strong bonuses on the tank set will make people like actually wear the tank set, and that's a good thing. Okay, so we talked about Queensfall, we talked about Duskwraith treads, we talked about the Duskwraith helmet. There were changes to a number of runes. First off, Slaughter from Shadows used to be 60% backstab and ambush damage, is now 75%. Backstab was kind of falling behind, but this is a big boost to backstab, and now with the most recent wave of changes, it's looking like Backstab is the leading build for best in slot in Phase 8, but again, very subject to change. We're not there yet. There could be additional balance tuning happening. Rolling with the Punches, I believe baseline got a little bit of a nerf. I think this used to be 6% health per stack. Now it's 5%, but it gets juiced up by the tier set from the raid. Big change to Carnage. This used to be 8% damage for having a bleed active on the target. It is now 15% damage for having a bleed active on the target. Not per bleed. That's the tier set that's like per bleed. The Carnage rune is just any number of bleeds, you get this. Previously, most builds were like pretty close between running Cut to the Chase or running Carnage. Now it's just going to be everyone's on Carnage. Everyone's going to be on Carnage. This is way stronger. So I would say like running a Cut to the Chase build no longer like really like close enough to be worth doing. Mutilate got a buff. Used to be 80% weapon damage. Now it's 90% weapon damage. Saber Slash got a buff. Used to be 33% increased damage for Saber Slash. Now it's 40% damage increase to Saber Slash and Sinister Strike per stack of Saber Slash. So you stack Saber Slash up to 3 on the target, and it used to double the damage of Saber Slash, 33% per stack times 3, 99%. That's basically double. Now it's 40% per stack, so at 3 stacks, that's going to be 120% increased damage of Saber Slash. So that's pretty good. Big improvement there. And Main Gauche got some changes. Main Gauche is now going to award you stacks of Rolling with the Punches. I wonder if it does this without Rolling with the Punches rune. We should try that. We could go out to a target dummy on the test realm. But anyways, the like parry duration got reduced. And then like some changes to the buff duration and cooldown of Main Gauche. The Main Gauche changes were like not that significant. You can still like always have the Main Gauche up buff up if you want to. Let me see. Like right now I've got Master of Subtlety. if I'm main gauche and I go Sinister Strike and main gauche a target dummy, am I going to get stacks of rolling with the punches? Because that'd be kind of crazy. Okay, no, it's not going to give me stacks of rolling with the punches without having rolling with the punches on my boots. Okay, good to check. Let's put rolling with the punches on the boot and see if it works proper now. So normally you gain stacks when you dodge or parry an incoming attack, but main gauche is now supposed to give you stacks also. There, the Sinister Strike gives stacks, not the main gauche. Just like that. Okay, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's look over the patch note changes here. They said there's also additional item changes that are yet to be, like, not listed that will help many classes further. A number of itemization and stat changes coming that are not listed here that will help many classes further. Okay. So, before we finish up talking about the public test realm stuff, I thought you would like to see the work-in-progress BIS lists that we've come up with for Mutilate, Backstab, and Saber Slash builds, given all of those changes. Just like the changes are work in progress, the BIS lists are also work in progress, but, you know, myself and a lot of other community members have tinkered around in the simulator to try to get the highest, you know, DPS estimates we possibly can for each of these builds. And what you're looking at right here is the Mutilate one. Both Mutilate and Backstab are really solidly looking like they're going to use Queensfall, Kingsfall combo. So if you think you want to play either of those builds next phase, you can try to pick up a Kingsfall right now. It's a pretty good dagger, part of this set. So that's something you can work on right now. And a couple other of these items are available right now too. Dark Rider's Spine, Unnatural Forces, Kagi's Clasp. The 2-piece Death Dealer for the Mutilate build is Chest and Boot. And then 6 pieces Duskwraith in all the other primary armor slots. You got Bone Scythe, Ring down there, not actually activating any of the set bonuses. Unnatural Forces, and 2 fancy new trinkets, the Abandoned Experiment and Sir Dornell's Didgeridoo. This has a activated effect that a lot of players are kind of split on. Some people think it's awesome, others think it's lame. You summon a random animal companion to your side, and the different animal companions, there's 7 different ones, give different effects. There's one that gives strength, one that gives agility, one that gives attack power, one that gives critical strike chance, one that gives armor penetration, and one that gives haste. And then there is a 7th one. Much like the One Ring was made to rule them all, the brilliance of Mr. Bigglesworth rules all the other animal companions. If you get really lucky and you get Mr. Bigglesworth as your animal companion, you get all the other buffs at once, but only at 50% potency. But it's still way, way, way better than any of the other 6 individual buffs. So some people don't like the RNG factor of that. Other people, myself included, think that that is hilarious. So big fan. And you're going to see that trinket in every build. It is, on average, very good. The simulator is always just randomly summoning one, getting an average effect. And it's very strong. It has a lot of good passive stats on it, too. So, you know, that's good. Here is the Saber Slash version. This Regicide sword is extremely, extremely good for the Saber Slash builds. It's like 1,000 DPS ahead of anything else. It's really hard to do Saber Slash, you know, anywhere competitively without this sword. It has a special effect, which you can't actually see right here on the simulator because it doesn't, like, register the item data properly. If you view this item on a rogue, it says, whenever you strike a higher level enemy, it applies a stack of coup debuff. Whenever you use Envenom, it deals 5% more damage for each stack of coup, up to a maximum of 100% more damage. So it's giving you, you know, as you continually attack the target, you build up these stacks of coup, and then you Envenom, and it deals way more damage. And it's a really, really strong sword for the Saber Slash builds. And then we've got Claw the Frostworm as the preferred offhand to pair with Regicide, but also the Hungering Cold is a close second and a pretty good option as well, which frankly, I would say looks a lot cooler. And then no more Death Dealer for the Saber Slash build. We're going 2-piece Bone Scythe alongside 6-piece Duskwraith. And then you got the Torture Belt over there. Pretty good. And then the best build we have, highest estimated damage output, is a Assassination Backstab build. We got the talents going down like that. A little bit of Ambush, a little bit of Seal Fate, down to Backstab over here, full ranks of lethality. I've opted to include Murder in all of my simulator things because the spoiled boss names for the bosses in Scarlet Enclave pretty much seem like they're all going to be humanoid, or murderable at least. Like, there's one that's probably a demon, one that's probably a dragon, and the rest seem like they're going to be humanoids, but we don't know that for sure yet. Anyways, with the Backstab build, Queensfall, Kingsfall again, Slayer's Crest over here, and then we got the same setup like the Saber Slash with 2-piece Bone Scythe, 6-piece Duskwraith, and the Torturer's Tool Belt over here. We had the Soul String and Mason's Fraternity Ring being not all that different from Unnatural Forces, and I think I had Dark Rider's Spine. I can't remember if I had Fratley's Spur, Dark Rider's Spine, but, oh gosh, I must have had something different. Oh, well, whatever. Not important. Slayer's Crest, still pretty big here. Definitely preferring the attack power of Slayer's Crest in the Backstab build. Backstab is really not that much about auto attacks. It's really about the backstabs, the ambushes, the envenoms. Auto attacks make up a very small portion of your damage compared to other builds like Saber Slash having a whole 20% of their damage being auto attacks, and Mutilate having 18% of their damage being auto attacks. So right. If a lower percentage of your damage is auto attacks, haste isn't quite as good. That's what I was trying to get at. The trinket these other builds are using is Abandoned Experiment, which is a huge haste trinket. 4% passively, and then you get an active effect that gives you up to 30% more haste while it's active, so pretty good. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up what we're looking at for best in slot gear in Phase 8 with all these data mine changes implemented, or not data mine, they're on the PTR, whatever. But as always, it's very subject to change. The balance could change, or we could figure out other combinations of items that yield slightly higher damage estimates. This is what we're looking at right now.